Okay, so how do you actually make travel videos? So let me tell you the story. Pretty much 2017, I made the commitment that I want to travel the world and I want to create travel videos. I packed my bags, booked the flights, put my $200 to $300 budget camera in my bag, and from then on I created probably over 100 travel videos, and I can tell you one thing for sure. They have been horrible, and I would say you can see quite a progress. And because I get the question so often, yo Danny, what do you film with? How do you edit? How do you this and that? I decided to put together my top 10 list of tips, tricks, and little hacks on how I personally film, especially because I have quite a big trip coming up in just a few weeks. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. Okay, so with that, welcome back to the channel. My name is Danny. If you're new here, we're talking about travel, health, and mindset. And today it's going to be about my travel videos. As you heard the story, pretty much 300, little more than that, days of travel. I created around 130, 40, 50 travel videos. And in the beginning, I didn't know anything about it. And just to get it out of the way, this video is not going to be like the super advanced, how to make super crazy travel videos. You can really see some epic stuff on YouTube. This is going to be just a guide of how I personally do it. And I would say it's kind of like a beginner's guide to create pretty cool travel videos, maybe low intermediate, documenting my life in a more interesting way, and most importantly, sharing the travel story and documenting it for myself. Alright, so the number one, I would feel like it's something that really skyrocketed the way that my videos look a lot. It's pretty much shooting stable footage. And I would say it's almost like 2 points. There are 2 ways to achieve that. First of all, in camera, smooth footage, just the way you're shooting. So basically, when I created my first travel vlogs that I really loved from Singapore, I had one issue with it. The pictures looked great. I felt a little more comfortable already in front of the camera. It has been like travel vlog number 15 or something. But the footage has been quite shaky because it's super hot, you're outside, you're excited, you're shaking, you don't have any experience. So the way to fix that is on the one side to really hold the camera steadily and pan, for example, from left to the right, much slower. If you want to have like a front leaning shot or a back leaning shot, you just hold the camera and you lean to the front. But what has been really a game changer and is super simple and you can start doing right now is using the band of your camera. You put it on your neck and then you tighten it with your camera, and now once you hold it, you can pan it to the left or to the right, and the picture is going to be so much more stable. Once the footage is in your editing software, I personally use Adobe Premiere Pro. This is what most people use and I can really recommend it. You can put some warp stabilizer on it, and what's that going to do? It's going to zoom in on your picture a little and make it a lot more stable. But just to learn that, this is going to be my tip number one, hack number one with the band to create more stability. And connected to that is creating super smooth, buttery slick footage with a stabilizer. And just a few years ago, you really had to have like super big rigs to be able to achieve that. But these days, I have this, for example, Crane 2, and it's also suitable for quite big and heavy cameras. And what you can do with these little bad boys is create super smooth footage because your camera is stabilized. With that, you can do follow shots, pull out shots, all type of different crazy stuff. And I would say this is my favorite piece of gear. Everyone who wants to really upgrade their video quality and is thinking about buying like a $500 or $1,000 lens could make sense, but for travel videos, I would say a stabilizer is extremely game-changing. And at this point, they're getting cheaper and cheaper, so you can get one already for a few $100s. I will make sure to link all the equipment in the description below. Number 2 is going to be cutting on beat. Maybe you have noticed that you're watching a travel video and it feels really organic. It feels like it's flowing, and maybe there is a higher beat and the beat is pitching and it's starting to go a little faster, and also there are more pictures coming in, and then it smooths down again. And you really have, so what you basically try to do is to listen closely to the music and figure out when the beat gets faster, or if there's, for example, a drum drum or something like that in the background. Usually there are elements where you can align your footage according to that, and that is going to make the whole experience a much more smoother. And very often, if you maybe have a fast beat or the beat drops, this is when the drone footage can come in. This is where like fast like transitions or hyperlapses can come in. Those are all effects that I do like to use, but I would say it makes it so much more appealing when it actually matches to the music. So cutting on beat, one of the biggest things. Number 3, I mean, we mentioned it already, the music. I get this question very often in the comments. Yo, Danny, where do you get your music from? And to this day, I've been actually getting it from all types of different sources. Obviously, you have to make sure it's no copyright so you can monetize the videos. If you're just doing it for private purposes, obviously that's not as big of an issue, but especially for YouTube, there are different platforms, like just the music library from YouTube, no copyright sounds, different channels who are publishing different creators. And there you can definitely find some good stuff, but there is always this little danger that someone might change the decision or someone uploaded it falsely as copyright free. It happened to me like 3 or 4 times that a video that got quite a lot of views was demonetized because the music was copyrighted. And to really avoid that, I actually just now signed up for a free trial with Epidemic Sounds to make the whole thing easier, to not have to worry about that all the time. So maybe in a future video I will update you on how it's going with that, but so far their music sounds pretty insane. If you want to check it out as well, do a free trial, I will make sure to link it in the description. So finding the right track really makes all the difference, and with copyright music it's not that easy. But obviously with travel videos, I would say there are 2 things that fit really well to it. On the one side, maybe this tropical house vibe, and there you really have to make sure that the beat is not like going too fast and it just really doesn't make sense. And it's always all about atmosphere. But a few tracks of the video series that I did like for each country that I've been in a video series, I really love them and they really stick in my mind. So if you want, check any of the travel series out: Philippines, Singapore, Australia, and so on. Okay, number 4, this is a really big one and another game changer of why I love my videos as of right now a lot more than I used to before. I feel like they flow a lot better, is having good transitions by using speed ramping. And it's actually quite an easy effect. So basically what you do is that at the end of a sequence, before it's cutting into the next sequence, instead of just having a hard cut, you basically do a cut. I'm gonna show it to you right now, and then you put up this speed gradually. So what you can also do with that is cut on beats. So for example, when there is a beat in the track and the music that you're using, at one point you could make like a movement faster and then slow it down again, or use it for transitions. At every end of the sequence you raise the speed gradually, and then the next sequence starts out with the same speed and goes down gradually. That is what creates this really smooth and flowing feeling to a lot of travel videos that you are seeing. It's not that hard. If you haven't tried it before, I highly recommend that. Okay, number 5 is to know your equipment. And what I mean by that is whatever camera you're having, you really have to feel comfortable with it, to able to just, you know, pack it out, shoot, to be able to hold it in your hand, to actually enjoy And just knowing the ins and outs of your camera, just knowing which buttons you have to press. So when you're on the road, you can actually, first of all, take in the travel experience, but second of all, being able to, just create nice and appealing videos. So with this video, I wanted to take a little time and go a little more in depth on how I actually do the things that I do. It's not super complicated, but yet I wanted to take my time and divide this video into 2 parts. So the other 5 points, of which at least 1 or 2 of them have been also really game changers, as I call them in this video. There will be a second video. I'll record it right now. We'll go again in depth on all the points for you, and I will publish it on my second channel, Create Inside, where I'm sharing insights about social media, about my experience with creating a business online. This is a project I started to work on a few weeks ago. So smash the thumbs up button on this video if you enjoyed it and got some value from it. And before you leave and watch part 2, I would be interested in, have you ever created a travel video? Yes or no? If you did, you're very welcome to link it. And if you haven't, are you planning on doing any, or are you just watching out of interested? I'm just curious about it. But with that, we're gonna see each other on the other video. Until then, you got a world to see.